Welcome back, fourth grade readers and writers. All right, we've been doing some great work this week, and we've been now introduced to this new text, but I guess this is not new to us anymore. This is our third day, and we're going to be working with that same text. You did some really good work yesterday around finding the meaning of unfamiliar words and phrases as they're used in the text. All right, so before we get started, we're on daily lesson 12. This is ELA School Away from School, and I am your virtual teacher, Mrs. Ewing. All right, let's look at our guiding questions. What can we learn from the process of ratifying the 19th Amendment? We've been doing lots of work around this, right? As we're learning more about ratifying the 19th Amendment, we're really learning about the process and the results of that process. All right, how can stories inspire us to take action to contribute to a better world? And how and why can we encourage and support others to contribute to a better world? All right, let's gather our materials. You're going to need your text, Women Who Fought for the Vote. You're going to need a lesson 12. You're going to need your lesson 12 note catcher and a sharpened pencil. Pause this video and gather your materials now. All right, now that we have everything we need, let's get started. All right, let's look at our learning target for today. I can explain ideas or concepts in a historical text, including what happened and why. This is our first time seeing this learning target. So a lot of time when we are reading articles about historical events, it's important for us to slow down and think about what is happening and why is this happening. So we're going to do that work today. All right, let's go ahead and with a family member, a caregiver, or a friend, I want you to reread the section with the subheading Ida B. Wells from our text, Women Who Fought for the Right to Vote, or Women Who Fought for the Vote. Now you're going to find this section. It starts on the second page all the way at the bottom, and then it continues for two sentences on that third page. So go ahead, find the section, Ida B. Wells, and go ahead and reread that section with a family member, a caregiver, or a friend. Pause this video now and do that work. Great. All right, now that we've reread that section, let's do some thinking about that section. All right, I want you to think about these following things to get you ready for the discussion we're about to have. All right, what is this section mainly about? How does this section support the main idea of the whole text? And remember, if you need a reminder of the main idea, go back to our daily lesson 10 note catcher. Now I want you to think, what does the author want you to know about Ida B. Wells? And I also want you to think about what happened in 1913 that showed even though women's rights were progressing means moving forward, there was still inequality in the United States. Pause this video now, and I want you to think about these 4 questions before we talk about them. Great. Now that you've done some thinking, let's discuss. With a family member, caregiver, or friend, talk about the following questions. How does this section about Ida B. Wells support the main idea? Pause this video and go ahead and talk about this now. Great. I remember we said this big main idea was about that there were very important women who fought hard for women to get the right to vote. So if I think about this section gives us information about one of these women who fought hard for the right to vote. I want you to look at the second question though. It says, what was significant about Ida B. Wells? Especially when you think about some information about her that was different than maybe some of these other ladies we've learned about in this article. Go ahead, pause this video, and I want you to talk about what was significant about Ida B. Wells. Good. Hopefully you talked about that she was actually fought for African Americans, right? Was African American herself, right? All right, so now that you've thought about that, I want you to talk about this. What does the author include about Ida B. Wells in this article? All right, pause this video and talk about this. All right, good. They wanted you to know what a fighter Ida B. Wells was. She fought for African Americans' rights. She fought for women's rights. I was about to give you some information, but I don't want to give it to you yet because I want you to have this conversation first. Talk about this. What happened in 1913 that showed even though women's rights were progressing, remember moving forward, there was still inequality in the United States? Pause this video, talk about this. Right, good. It's interesting because the author tells us that here's Ida B. Wells fighting for women's rights, fighting for African Americans' rights. Here's all these other women who are fighting for equality, fighting for the right to vote, but yet some women did not want Ida B. Wells to march in a suffragist march because she was African American. Is this a clue to inequality still happening in the United States at the time? All right, good discussion, so let's do some writing. Using the Lesson 12 note catcher, I want you to record your thinking about key people and events in the text, specifically Ida B. Wells. All right, so let's look at this note catcher. In the note catcher, if you look at the top, you have two columns here. In this first column, underneath the question, I want you to record what was significant about Ida B. Wells. So we just talked about this. What was significant that the author included about Ida B. Wells? And then I want you to think about and record, why does the author include Ida B. Wells in this article? Then, underneath that, using the lines below, what happened in 1913 that showed that even though women's rights were progressing or moving forward, there was still inequality in the United States? And we just had a really good discussion about that. So here's a place to record that discussion. Pause this video and do your writing activity now. Great. So in this note catcher, I hope you really grasp this idea because we're going to be developing this idea further. But here's Ida B. Wells. She's fighting for the right to vote, or she's fighting for women's rights. Here's these women fighting for their rights because they think that that it's not fair that women don't have the right to vote. There's inequality. But yet, because Ida B. Wells is African American, some of them didn't want her fighting alongside her. Really gives us some things to think about, doesn't it? All right, we're going to continue to think about that in weeks to come. What I want you to do now, though, I want you to share your writing with someone and tell them why you chose to write what you did. After you complete this assignment, I want you to remember to read a book with a family member, a caregiver, or a friend for at least 20 minutes. And I want you to do that fluency practice. Remember, use a timer, cell phone timer, kitchen timer, have someone count to 60. Read the passage for 1 minute, count those words, record the number at the top of the text. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we dive deeper into this work.